Welcome back to the program. I'm James Morrow, and you're watching Outsiders with Rowan Dean and Rita Panahi. And I tell you what, it's been a pretty scary week as far as Russia is concerned. First, there was that report that Russia was developing some sort of scary new space weapon, something that was so dangerous that there were calls for intelligence on it to be declassified for Congress. Just before the House votes on a massive foreign aid package, coincidentally. And then there was news that jailed Russian anti-Putin opposition figure Alexei Navalny was found dead in a Russian jail. Presumably, it's pretty safe to say, with Vladimir Putin's henchmen responsible for his death. Well, happily, in these troubled and dangerous times, the U.S. has a strong leader in Joe Biden, who is ready to articulately stand up to the Ruskies.
$4 billion. $4 billion. Wow. Done all kinds of chickens. Whole lot of broiler chickens. Yeah.
Boiler chickens. Okay, maybe not, but at least the U.S. government never uses the legal system to try and jail oligarchs who fall foul of the regime like they do in Russia, or use the courts to try and seize their fortunes, right? Oh, gosh, again, maybe not. You see, a totally unbiased New York judge and a totally unbiased New York Attorney General won a judgment this week for nearly $500 million, that's billion with a B, dollars, against Donald Trump this week in what can only be called an entirely bogus, indeed fraudulent fraud trial. Basically, the case driven by Attorney General Letitia James claimed this, that Donald Trump inflated the value of his assets to get loans to run his businesses. Loans which, by the way, he paid back on time and in full and with interest. Now, banks didn't have a problem with this. The executives from banks such as Deutsche said that they even testified in Trump's defense, saying they didn't feel aggrieved or victimized by the Trump organization. Just the opposite. They loaned him money, they paid it back, everybody won. But meanwhile, among the assets Trump is alleged to have inflated was his massive compound estate club Mar-a-Lago at Palm Beach. You see it there on the screen. An over 100-room income-earning club with more than 100 rooms, over 17 acres of beachfront on both sides of Palm Beach. And prosecutors said this property was worth only $18 million.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Forget Sydney. That sort of money could barely buy you a parking space in Palm Beach, where the average house price is $5 million. So this was, let's be clear, nothing more than a third world hit job on Trump for the crime not of fraud, but of being Trump and threatening the Democrat regime's hold on power. You know, Stalin's infamous henchman Lavrenti Beria used to say, "Show me the man and I'll show you the crime." And that is really pretty much the inspiration for Letitia James, the Attorney General who ran the case and who, when she ran for office, made taking down Trump a central part of her campaign.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president. He should be charged with obstructing justice. I believe that the president of these United States can be indicted for criminal offenses.
I will be shining a bright light into every dark corner of his real estate dealings. And every dealing demanding truthfulness at every turn.
Yeah, so she pretty much had her mind made up before she even took office. And who can forget the smug smirk trial judge Arthur Engoron gave at the start of the trial?
That's the problem, is that, you know, you have James now being shown in the background, you've got Trump in the foreground, and it fulfills the narrative on both sides. Trump is likely right.
Pretty happy with himself there, and just goes to show the fix was in from the start. There was no way Trump was going to win in this fraud trial. Yet, and let's be clear, a man has been convicted in a civil trial for fraud for the crime of paying back loans with interest to banks that wanted to do more business with him. This is what happens when a justice system catches a bad case of Trump derangement syndrome. And the same thing's been going on down in Georgia, where a grand jury indicted Trump last year for election interference. By the way, this, in case you forgot, here's the foreperson of the grand jury that indicted Trump in that case.
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
Wow, how cool is that? She got swearing Trump. But that's nothing compared to the district attorney, Fani Willis, who ran that case, and her special prosecutor lover, Nathan Wade, who decided they were going to get Trump on election interference charges. And now find themselves, I love this one, in hot water for a secret relationship they had that involved Fani Willis hiring Wade and paying him over $700,000 in taxpayer dollars to run the case, while also going on secret trips and cruises on a corporate credit card, which Wade would then pay Willis back for in cash. It was all very complicated. And by the way, there was more. Also has come out that Wade secretly met at least twice with the Biden White House about the charges against Trump and colluded with the January 6th committee investigating the 2021 insurrection. Fani Willis is very likely to be removed from the case as DA, and if so, this Georgia interference case against Trump is likely to completely fall apart. But of course, there's other cases that are running against him elsewhere, and it all just goes to show how the people who hate Trump, and they love to do this, they have to claim that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy and norms and the constitutional order. Well, it turns out they're often a whole lot worse at all of this stuff themselves.